Hi everybody, my name is Stephanie. I'm going to talk about the Aurora today, which is also known as both the Northern Lights and the Southern Lights. Here in Houghton we call them the Northern Lights because obviously Houghton is in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm going to discuss what causes the Northern Lights, like why do they happen, and also what causes the colors that we see, and then I'll show a couple pictures of what the Aurora actually looks like. Okay, so the Aurora Borealis and the Aurora Australis. This is also known as the Northern Lights and the Southern Lights, with the Borealis being the northern and the Australis being the southern. So obviously, the Northern Lights are seen in the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Lights are seen in the Southern Hemisphere. So this picture in the background is actually a picture taken by me here in Hancock, Michigan, which would be the Northern Lights. And as you can see, there's a lot of green present that night, with a little bit of magenta and a little bit of white too. Okay, so what causes the aurora? The solar flares, which are caused by sunspots on the sun colliding, that is one of the main causes of the aurora that we see. Although there are other causes, which some other ones would be coronal mass ejections, which are high energy gas bubbles being ejected from the corona of the sun, and filaments, which is gas, high energy gas that moves upwards from the photosphere and then is also ejected from the sun. So these solar winds and these particles, they take around 40 hours to reach the Earth, and they are drawn towards the magnetic north and south poles. Some of these particles, as they reach the Earth's atmosphere, they overpower the Van Allen belts and they collide with atoms and molecules of oxygen, nitrogen, and some other elements. And this is what causes the colors. So the colors in the Northern Lights and the Southern Lights are caused by the different elements that these electrically charged particles collide with. And the most prominent colors are green, yellow, and blue and violet. And occasionally you will see red, orange, and white, but these are a lot more rare. So the green and yellow, they're caused by collision with oxygen, and then the bluish pink colors are caused by colliding with nitrogen. Occasionally, which is very rare, you will be able to see a completely red aurora, and this is caused by collision with high altitude oxygen. But again, this is very rare. And so where did the name Aurora Borealis came from? So as early as 1616, Galileo started using this name to describe them. Aurora comes from the name the Roman goddess of dawn, and Boreas comes from the Greek name for the northern wind. So the peak times of the aurora, it peaks every 11 years because the full cycle of the sun is 22 years, but it peaks every 11. So the last peak was in 2013, and it was actually one of the weakest showings of the Northern Lights and Southern Lights. And the best time to view the Northern Lights would be at midnight, and a lot of astronomers suggest viewing them in the north at midnight during the winter months. So some myths and legends that came up over the years through the Norse, the Chinese, the Inuit, and Japanese tribes and their mythology. A lot of them pointed towards babies in childbirth. They believed that any baby that was conceived under the lights would be lucky and that childbirth would be free of pain. And almost all of them agreed that red was not good and that you should run away from red lights. They also all agreed that whistling was bad, that you should never whistle towards the lights, otherwise they would come and take you away. And the last one was specific to the Norse tribes. The Swedish people believed that the lights were caused by herring. So when there were strong showings of the lights, it meant that it was time to go fishing. So here is another picture of the northern lights. This is actually also in my front yard in Hancock, Michigan. Again, there was a lot of green present. A lot of green and a little bit of pink. Thank you all for watching. If you want to learn more, you can definitely research the northern lights. And there's plenty of videos to watch about the northern lights. The sources that I used personally were space.com, livescience.com, and ewebtribes.com. Thank you again.